Psalm 47 verse 4 is in two parts. The first part, he would choose our inheritance for us. The psalmist at the time was confident in the wisdom and the goodness of the great king. He was happy to let the great king choose his inheritance. It is a glorious fact that our great King Jesus has chosen the inheritance of his people and of us. Ephesians 1, 3-6 is just one passage that describes some of his choosing for us. He chose us in him before the foundation of the world. He chose us to be holy and blameless before him in love. He chose us to be adopted as sons into his family. It is a wise prayer to ask our King Jesus to choose our inheritance for us. We often get into trouble by wanting to choose our own inheritance. We sometimes want to choose our own blessings. One of better health, one of more money, maybe another one of great talent. But each wish we have is what the other may not have or does have. Yet it is far better to let God choose our blessings. We sometimes want to choose our own callings. We see the callings of another and think that the calling of the other is better than ours. Or we want to imitate the calling of another instead of running our own race. We sometimes want to choose our own crosses. We think that our own problems are so much worse than others, and we think that we could bear any number of crosses except the one he chose for us. Charles Spurgeon thought that this was a psalm of David and not the sons of Korah. That David wrote it, but they sang it. He wrote, "Our ear has grown accustomed to the ring of David's compositions, and we are morally certain that we hear it in his psalm." This may or may not be true, but certainly David knew that his king chose his inheritance at each stage of his life, and he showed contentment with his inheritance God chose for him. As an anonymous shepherd boy, as the warrior against Goliath, as a fugitive running from Saul, as the king over Israel, and as a disciplined sinner. The second part of Psalm 47 verse 4 is the excellence of Jacob whom he loves. This explains why we can be at peace with the inheritance he chooses for us. We know that Jesus is safe, and because we are in him, God is for us and not against us. He loves us as his chosen, because he has chosen us, so we are happy to let him choose our inheritance for us. The Holy Land is called the excellency of Jacob, or the pride of Jacob, on account of its beauty and the excellence and variety of its productions. You can read this in Deuteronomy 8, 7-9, or even 2 Kings 18-32. The excellence of Jacob. The pride of Jacob is a brief way of saying Jacob's glorious land. Whom he loves provokes a question. Why does God so love Jacob? Why does God so love the church? Why does God so love the world? The answer is that the reasons for his love are in him, and not in the ones whom he loves.